Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Chauskas. Today is the 10th of September 2018. So welcome everyone. Welcome to this Monday's afternoon session where we're going to have a look at a few instruments I believe are quite developing nicely. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Also, just a very quick reminder of our JFD Brokers website, and specifically our JFD research page, where you can go in and have a look at different analysis that we do on a daily basis. We update that page every day, so feel free to check us out. It's loading up a little bit slowly today, but nevertheless you know where to find it, and I believe you can find a lot of useful stuff here for yourselves, guys. So feel free to check us out. Okay, but for now, let's jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on is the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq 100 here is a very interesting spot. As you can see, we've been in this rising channel formation for quite a while now, and on Friday, of course, we've managed to break below this and managed to close below this. And there was a point where the bulls tried to push back inside this channel, but to be honest, the bears kind of took control and moved it out of it. Still, the daily candle closed in the positive zone, but outside of this rising channel. So that said, at this point in time, to be honest, this is starting to look quite bearish, and if we could potentially see a push lower here, maybe a test of this lower bound of the rising channel, and then a move down again. So this is a possible scenario that I'm looking at right now. So if we do get rejected from this lower bound of the rising channel, we could start moving lower. We could start testing the 73.10 mark here. As you can see, it proved to be a very nice area of support here in the past, in the mid-August, and also a very strong area of resistance here in June time. So quite an important level to watch, the 73.10. Keep your eyes on that one. If that doesn't hold, if this is just going to be like a small pit stop for the index, we could see further declines here towards the 71.85 or even 71.45. Now this is a nice area to watch as well, this area of potential support. Let me just quickly highlight that. And as you can see, in the past, it also acted as a very nice quite an important area here. So something like this could be possible, but of course for now, just be very careful. Let's see what it wants to do with this lower bound of this rising channel, and if it does hold, we could see further declines here towards this 73.10 level. For us to start looking at the upside here, and we start looking at the higher levels, we would need to see a nice good break in a close here above the 75.15 level. Now this is where it could become more interesting for the bulls, and they could try to at least drive this index back up here towards the all-time highs that we saw here around the 76.91 level. And if that doesn't hold, and if the index is going to be ready for making new all-time highs, now we could see a nice break here above the 76.91 level, and we could start aiming for higher levels. Who knows, maybe even the upper bound of the rising channel here. So of course that's quite a big of a shot here, but for now, of course, let's see what it wants to do with this lower bound of this rising channel, and of course as well this level right here, the 75.15. Let's see what it wants to do with that one as well. So keep your eyes on this one, guys. These are the key levels to watch, and let's see how it develops later on. Let's jump into platinum. This is one of the commodities, or should I say precious metals, that I wanted to touch on. And as you can see here, it's trying to push higher here, and it's to be honest, it's doing quite a good job today. The bulls are doing a quite good job today in trying to push this precious metal higher. But you can see overall, kind of the platinum is still trading below this downside resistance line taken from the 25th of January this year. So we could potentially see a push higher, but for us to start looking at maybe a possible touch here of this downside resistance line, we would need to see a nice break and a close here above this 810 level. Now this level here acted as a very good area of resistance around the 28th of August, and if we do get a nice break here, now this could be interesting for the bulls, at least for the short run, until we hit this, or potentially I should say potentially hit this downside resistance line. Now of course, this is the area where it could become more interesting if we start breaking this downside resistance line. Now we could start positioning ourselves for higher levels. Certainly this could start coming into play, the 878 mark, or even actually a little bit higher. But for now, of course, let's just go step by step. Let's see initially what he wants to do with this level right here, the 810. Let me just quickly mark that for you guys for future reference. And if we do get a nice break here above this 810, well, start looking at the potential test of the this downside resistance line, and from there, of course, we'll have to just take it from there if we get to this point. On the downside, for us to start looking at lower levels, well, we would need to see a nice good break here below the 756 level, approximately there, of course, in order to start positioning ourselves for lower levels. For now, of course, just judging the way everything is shaping up on the daily chart, the downside could be slightly off the table. So for now, keep your eyes on this 810. Let's see what he wants to do with that one. Let's jump into Bitcoin. Now this one, of course, maybe not a lot of developments happening here in the past, let's say, few days, but nevertheless we can see that the bulls are kind of trying to fight back here. We've managed to move away from these lows that we had around the 6100 level. So now all eyes are on this. Let me just actually jump into a 4-hour chart in this one, and probably will be a better picture shown here. So let me just quickly mark a few levels. So this is the area approximately that we're gonna keep an eye on. So the 6120 level, approximately there. Now if we do get a nice break here below the 6120 level, now this is where it could become interesting again for the bears, because we do have this nice potential area of support here marked by the low of the 14th of August, and that's around the 5860 level, approximately there. Now if we get a nice break here below the 6120, this is where the crypto could make its way to test this low, this we should say August low, and we could maybe, well, of course we should take it from there, but this is the first potential area of support to watch if we get a nice break here below the 6120. On the upside, well, on the short-term picture, start looking at this level right here around the 6555 zone. So if we get a nice break here above this level, now this is where we could start aiming for the 6800 initially, and if that doesn't hold, well, it could make its way all the way towards this level right here. Let me just extend this this rising channel, this lower bound of the rising channel. This is where it could end up moving here, and of course that would be already above the 7000 level, even above the 7200 level. So that this is what we could start aiming for if we get a nice break here and a close above the 6800 level. Now for now, of course, until we get here, we need to see what he wants to do with the 6555 zone, and like I said, if it doesn't hold, and if it doesn't hold the rate down, then, well, yep, start looking for higher levels. So for now we're just kind of stuck here a little bit between these key important areas. So for now, just like I said, stay probably neutral, and let's see what it wants to do with these two levels, the 6555 on the upside, and on the downside the 6120, approximately there, of course. Let's jump into a few pairs, and the first one I want to touch on is the GBPUSD. Now as you can see, this is a 4-hour chart, and looking at the daily one on this one, I was talking about this pair this morning, and I was telling you about to keep a close eye on this upper bound of the falling channel that the pair was trading in until actually a few minutes ago. So as you can see, we're having this nice push higher here today. Let me jump into the 4-hour chart quickly back. And this spike here is, of course, is on the news that came out just recently, as the EU Barnier has mentioned that the Brexit deal could be achieved in the next 6 to 8 weeks. So, and this is what the pound is reacting to right now, and we're testing the 130.45 level. So this is quite an important level to watch. Certainly, if we do get a nice close here above this level, though, this could interest the bulls, and we could see further acceleration to the upside. Certainly, there could be a possibility to see maybe a bit of a retracement back to the upside. Oh, so sorry, to the downside. Maybe test this upper bound again, upper bound of the falling channel, and then move higher again. But that's, of course, in the scenario if we get a nice break here above the 130.45 level today. Sorry, a nice close above this 130.45 level. If this stays below this 130.45 but actually closes above this upper bound of the falling channel, still never it could look quite positive. We could start aiming for a test of the 130.45 again, and of course we would have to take it from there. Like I said, if we do get a nice close here above this 130.45, this is opening the path towards higher levels potentially, of course, and we could start aiming for the 132.15. This level here acted as a very nice area of resistance around the 25th of July. So at the moment, everything is shaping up to be quite positive for the GBPUSD, but like I said, still the day has not finished yet, and let's see where it actually closes. If suddenly, let's say, this gets back here, back below this upper bound of the falling channel, well, I mean, this is not looking good for the pound, and the pound could continue dropping here in the near term. But for now, of course, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's see what it wants to do with this upper bound of the falling channel, and if it actually wants to close above this. And if it does, well, I mean, this is looking quite positive for the GBPUSD. That said, of course, certainly you can see the effects that the GBP is the positive outcome on the GBP is having on the EURGBP. So I mean, that's the working the other way around. Of course, you can see that EURGBP is selling off right now. So of course, technically speaking, you can see that we've broken this upside support line. So some of you could say that now this could have already been seen. I mean, this could have been already predicted. So yep, that's a good confirmation break that we had here below this upside trend line that was running here since around the 14th of June, and now we're pushing lower. Now we can see that the pair managed to test the 0.8895 level. Let's see where it closes today, because if we do get a close below this 0.89120 level, which was the low here on seen on Friday, so, or should I say, in other words, last week's low, if we do get a nice close here below the last week's low, this could, I mean, start looking at, well, let's say this pair could start looking at lower levels. We could start aiming for lower levels. The next potential area of support here, if we get a nice break below the 0.8895, the next potential area of support could be the 0.8875 or even the 0.8855. Now, keep your eyes on that. Of course, the last level that I've mentioned was a nice potential, that nice good area of support here seen around the 2nd of August. So something like this could be possible. For us to start, let's say, looking at the upside potential for this one, even though, I mean, the upside is now kind of slightly off the table, we would need to see a nice good strong reversal back above this upside trend line, and also a nice close above the 0.9005 level. So, and this is where we could aim for higher levels again, but for now, as you can see, it's looking more to the downside, so we're actually going to stick to the downside. And the last pair that I really want to quickly touch on, and that's USD-CAD. Now the USD-CAD here, let me put the daily chart back on here, and you can see that we're trading now back above this upside support line that got broken here in the end of August, but then quickly the pair managed to get back above it, and now we're kind of stuck here just slightly below the 132.10 level, and of course slightly above the 131 level, of course. So we're stuck in this little range here, about a 100 pip range. Let me actually just jump into the 4-hour chart in this one. And at the moment, of course, we're going to stay very careful here. We're going to keep on monitoring this this area between the 131.10 and the 132.10. A nice break above this 132.10 could open the path towards higher levels, and this is where we could start aiming for a potential test of the 132.90. The 132.90 acted as a very nice area of resistance here around the 19th of July. So something like this, guys, could be possible, but again, like I said, for higher levels, we would need to see a nice good break here above this 132.10 level. So keep your eyes on that one. Let's see if it actually does it. If this starts moving lower and we start getting a break here below the 131.10, well, I mean, we could potentially start testing this upside support line that I was just talking about. And of course, if we do get a move towards that area, well, we'll just have to reevaluate the pair again. So for now, just keep your eyes on that, on this level here, the 132.10. Let's see if it actually breaks it and moves higher. So okay, guys, I hope you found it useful. I kind of went a little bit over my time, but thank you very much for staying around. And if you found it useful, yep, that's wonderful, great. And please join me tomorrow morning in my Traders Espresso at 6 o'clock GMT time, 7 o'clock British Summer Time. But for now, thank you very much, and bye-bye.